It's all right to grieve. We're here. We will face this together.
Most people believe aging is just time passing through the body. Haha, they are wrong. Jung spent decades studying people who looked 20, sometimes 30 years younger than their actual age. People who had lived through enormous loss and difficulty. And what he found was disturbing. They were not younger because of genetics, not because of what they ate or how they slept. They were younger because they had stopped doing one specific thing that most people do every single day of their lives without realizing it, something your body is paying for right now, with your face, with your energy, with the exhaustion that sleep no longer fixes. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what it is, and exactly what to do about it tonight. Here is what almost no one tells you about aging. The stress response in your body was designed for acute threat. A danger arrives. It demands everything you have. Then, it resolves. The system was never designed to run indefinitely. But for most people, it does. Not because of anything happening outside them, because of what is happening inside. Every time you manage an emotion instead of feel it, your nervous system reads that as threat. Every time you present a version of yourself that does not match your interior reality, your body generates the chemistry of danger. Every time you suppress what is actually true, the anger, the grief, the bone-deep exhaustion of performing, cortisol rises, muscles brace, breath shallows, year by year, decade by decade. The face begins to show not the years that have passed. It begins to show the weight of what was never allowed to pass through. Jung called the material we suppress the shadow. Not evil, not weakness. Simply everything that was not welcome. The version of you that was too much, too honest, too complicated for the rooms you needed to survive in. The grief that was interrupted before it could complete itself. The anger that was swallowed. The need that learned to disguise itself as not needing. All of it accumulates. And the accumulation has a face. You have seen it. The set of someone's jaw that tells you they have been holding something for 20 years without knowing they are still holding it. The eyes that are braced against something just behind the surface. The posture of a person doing invisible, structural, relentless work. That work is aging them, not time. Now think about the person you have encountered who stopped you, quietly, without announcement, because they looked different from their age. Not younger through cosmetics. Younger in a way that lived in their eyes, in the ease of how they moved, in the stillness they carried, that did not feel constructed or performed. And if you had asked them what changed, they would almost certainly have told you about a period of profound difficulty, a loss that broke something open, a breaking point where the performance simply became impossible to maintain. And on the other side of that breaking point, they stopped doing something they had been doing every day for most of their life. They stopped pretending. Jung was precise about this. It is not difficulty that ages a person. It is the resistance to what difficulty asks you to feel. The person who carries vitality at 60 has not lived less than the person who looks exhausted at 45. They have processed more. Their grief completed itself instead of being stored. Their anger moved through them instead of calcifying into the muscles of their face. The face that has cried when it needed to is softer than the face that held everything in. The eyes that have looked honestly at their own darkness carry something that cannot be manufactured. Here is the mechanism that explains all of it. Jung called the mask we construct to function socially the persona. The persona is not the problem. The problem is what happens when the mask and the actual self have been separated for so long that the person no longer knows which one is real. Maintaining that separation is metabolically expensive. Every softened reaction, every suppressed response, every performance of enthusiasm that is not genuinely felt, dozens of times per day. The nervous system never fully disengages. It runs a continuous background program. Contain, manage, monitor, perform. That program has a cost. It is written into the face in ways that no intervention at the surface can undo, because the source of it is not at the surface. When the performance finally ends, when through crisis or through the slower and harder work of genuine honesty, a person arrives at a place where they are no longer required to be someone other than what they actually are, the system receives a signal it has been waiting years for. It is safe now. You can stop, and what follows is visible to everyone around them before they fully understand what has happened. Here is exactly what to do with this. 5 practices, beginning tonight. The first, tonight, choose one emotion you manage today instead of felt. Anger, anxiety, grief, loneliness. Sit with it for 3 uninterrupted minutes. Let it peak. Do not escape it. Jung called this integration, allowing an emotion to complete its natural arc, rather than interrupting it and leaving it stored, unfinished, inside the body indefinitely. The second, tomorrow morning, before you begin performing for the day, ask yourself one question. What version of me am I about to present today? And what am I genuinely afraid would happen if I arrived as what I actually am? Write the answer, not to share it, simply to stop lying to yourself for 3 minutes. The third, this week, find the tension in your body that has become so familiar it no longer registers as tension. The jaw, the shoulders, the chest. That is where the suppression lives in physical form. Noticing it, simply naming it, begins the process of the signal changing. The fourth, once per day, stop everything for 60 seconds. Feel the ground beneath you. Take 1 complete breath. Return to now. This is not a spiritual practice. It is a neurological one. Every return to the present moment interrupts the stress chemistry of living simultaneously in an unresolved past and a feared future. Your body needs these intervals of genuine rest. The fifth, and the one requiring the most honesty, identify one area of your life where you are living someone else's version of you. One relationship, one role, one performance that extracts more than it returns. Name it. You do not have to act on it today, but stop pretending it is not there. The cost of the pretending is written onto your face every single day you continue. Jung's insight was not mystical. It was clinical and precise. The people who carried visible vitality into their later years had not avoided difficulty. They had simply stopped doing one specific thing. They had stopped carrying what was never theirs to carry indefinitely. You cannot look at a tired face the same way after this. You cannot look at your own face the same way. Because now you know what it has been paying for. The lines are not the years. They are the receipts. The path forward is not comfortable. But the person on the other side of it is not more spiritual or more exceptional than you. They are simply more honest. And that honesty, the cessation of the enormous, invisible, ongoing effort of not being what you are, shows in the face, in the eyes, in the quality of presence that tells everyone in the room, without a single word, that someone is genuinely here. The weight you are still carrying has a specific structure, and there is a specific process for beginning to put it down. That is exactly what comes next. Comment one word, the one thing you have been holding the longest. Not for the world to see, for yourself to finally admit. Like this video, and subscribe for more powerful videos like this. See you in the next one.